Hey everyone! Welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into the trends and topics that matter. Today, we're delving into a subject that affects us all, the impact of social media on women's perceptions of relationships. Buckle up, because this one's a game changer. Before we get started, let's take a moment to consider the magnitude of social media in our lives. With over 4 billion users globally, platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter have become integral parts of our daily routines. But have you ever stopped to think about how these platforms shape our views on relationships, especially for women? Chapter 1: The Social Media Landscape. Let's start by understanding the social media landscape and its influence. According to recent studies, most of women use social media to connect with friends, share experiences, and seek relationship advice. But, here's the twist. These platforms often serve as breeding grounds for unrealistic expectations and comparisons. Psychological fact 1. Enter the social comparison theory. Psychologists suggest that constant exposure to idealized images and curated lifestyles on social media can lead to detrimental effects on self-esteem and body image. This, in turn, can spill over into how women perceive relationships and their own worth within them. Chapter 2: The Highlight Reel versus Reality. We all know that social media is essentially a highlight reel of people's lives. But how does this impact women's views on relationships? Well, studies show that most of women feel pressured to showcase their relationships in a certain light, often emphasizing the positive aspects while downplaying challenges. Psychological fact 2. This phenomenon is known as impression management, where individuals tailor their online personas to fit societal expectations. The danger lies in the fact that constant exposure to these carefully crafted images can create a distorted perception of relationship goals, setting unrealistic standards for women in their own love lives. Chapter 3: The Fear of Missing Out, FOMO, on Love. FOMO isn't just about missing out on parties, it's also about missing out on what seems like perfect relationships. Research suggests that most of women experience FOMO when they see romantic posts on social media, leading to feelings of inadequacy and anxiety about their own relationships. Psychological fact 3. Psychologists explain that the fear of missing out stems from a deep-seated need for social validation. The constant comparison to seemingly flawless relationships online can create a sense of urgency for women to meet unrealistic standards, potentially leading to impulsive decisions and dissatisfaction in their own love lives. Chapter 4: The Role of Social Media in Relationship Expectations. Now, let's talk about how social media shapes the very expectations women have within their relationships. Have you ever wondered why some women might expect grand gestures, picture-perfect dates, or constant public declarations of love? Well, social media has a role to play in that too. Psychological fact 4. Studies indicate that exposure to romantic gestures on social media can influence women's expectations in their relationships. The relationship script often depicted online can lead to dissatisfaction when real-life relationships don't match the grandeur seen on screens. It's like expecting a Hollywood love story in a world that's not always scripted. Chapter 5: Breaking the Cycle. Now that we've explored the impact of social media on women's perceptions of relationships, it's crucial to discuss how we can break free from this cycle. It's not about abandoning social media altogether, but rather being mindful of its influence and making conscious choices. Psychological fact 5. Psychologists emphasize the importance of media literacy and critical thinking. By understanding the curated nature of social media, women can cultivate a healthier perspective on relationships and resist the pressure to conform to unrealistic standards. It's about embracing authenticity and recognizing that every relationship has its unique journey. There you have it, folks. The impact of social media on women's perceptions of relationships is undeniable, but it's not a one-size-fits-all scenario. By being aware of the psychological factors at play and making informed choices, we can navigate the digital landscape without sacrificing our well-being and the authenticity of our relationships. Host. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay updated on all our thought-provoking content. Let's continue the conversation in the comments section below. How has social media influenced your views on relationships? Until next time, stay curious and stay real.